Very warm welcome, my viewers, enthusiast YouTubers. So, here I'm going to share with you another beautiful question. ठीक है जी? So, probably I'll be sharing two questions, but let's first of all complete the first one. Okay. तो जो हमारा पहला क्वेश्चन मैं डिस्कस करने जा रही हूँ बेसिकली आई एम गोइंग टू डिस्कस अबाउट द question which is based on the applications of the concepts from chapter determinants. बहुत ही प्यारा सा सुंदर सा चैप्टर है ये तो मतलब जल्दी समझ आ जाती है इसकी बट स्टिल मैथ्स हैज़ इट्स ओन ब्यूटी दैट वी कैन मेक extremely hard questions, we can make extremely easy questions also. So let's do one amongst the good one. Okay, तो मुझे क्वेश्चन में ये चीज़ गिवन है कि मुझे वैल्यू ऑफ दिस डिटर्मिनेंट बतानी है दैट आई एम गोइंग टू राइट फॉर ए ग्रेटर देन ज़ीरो, डी ग्रेटर देन ज़ीरो. मेरे पास डिटर्मिनेंट है 1/a plus d. I am writing the first column of my determinant, a plus 2d. Then I have 1/a into a plus d, 1/a plus d into a plus 2d. लाइक थोड़ी सी आपको इसमें एक सिमेट्री सी दिख रही होगी, है ना. हम यही सोचते हैं जिन क्वेश्चंस में ना हमें सिमेट्री दिख जाती है तो हमें ऐसे लगता है कहीं ना कहीं कि उसको करना ना इजी ही होगा, बट कभी कभार वो सिमेट्री हमसे थोड़ा और ज़्यादा मेहनत कराने का भी हमें वो मजबूर कर ही देती है. तो सो लेट्स स्टार्ट विद इट. प्लीज सॉल्व द क्वेश्चन. In case you aren't able to solve the question, you can refer to the explanation. The condition given is that a is more than 0, d is more than 0, and you have to determine the value of this determinant that would be equal to what. This may be asked from you in your MCQs. उसमें क्या हो जाएगा कि आपको किसी constant की value बतानी होगी and rest of everything might be given to you. तो what happens in those questions is that we get hint कि हमें proceed कैसे करना है. Still, here I am not giving you any option, any kind of that question. I have randomly presented the condition and the value that is to be determined through this given information. So please pause the video and try to solve it. Okay. So let's get started, and first of all let us just think that what can be done in this. हम सोच क्या सकते हैं इसमें से. क्या मैं ये चीज़ देख सकती हूँ कि यहाँ पे जो a plus 2d मतलब यहाँ पे a plus d है वो यहाँ पे भी आ रहा है. यहाँ पे a plus 2d जो है that is coming here also and here also. Here a plus 3d is there and that is coming here also and here also. So there are few things that I can take common. लेकिन उससे भी ज़्यादा मैं क्या देख सकती हूँ, ये तो थोड़ा सा मैंने क्वेश्चन में मुझे क्या दिख रहा है मैंने वो बताया. बट व्हाट आई कैन सी इज़ कि ये ऑपरेशंस जो हैं अगर मैंने कुछ भी एक कॉलम में से दूसरी कॉलम पर कोई ऑपरेशन करना है एडिशन सब्ट्रैक्शन का, तो उसके लिए मुझे उसको इजी बनाने के लिए ये टर्म्स अगर मैं न्यूमरेटर में ले आऊँ जैसे तैसे कॉमन करके, so that would become easy for me to determine the value of this determinant. So for that I have to take few terms common. So what I am doing is that I am taking 1/a into a plus d into a plus 2d common from row 1. In the similar way I am going to take 1/a plus d into a plus 2d into a plus 3d. I'm going to take this thing common from row 2, and in case of row 3 I am doing the same operation. I am going to take a plus 2d, all these terms common which are coming at least once from row 3. Now how would my question would get simplified, right? It's still it's still lengthy, but at least we have simplified it to some extent, right? I'm taking the common terms out. If you see then while taking common, all these terms, these terms would get multiplied, right? So if I see a plus d is coming twice, so power 2, right? A plus 2d will have of power 3, and in similar way a plus 3d would have power 2, and a plus 4d would have power 1, right? So the left determinant, what is the left determinant after taking these terms common? I am writing the left determinant after taking these terms common as delta dash. What is the value of that delta dash? That is basically a plus d into a plus 2d, a plus 2d. Friends, I want to say one thing, that if you find it slow, you may increase the speed or you may skip, because this is something very basic thing I am writing down after taking the terms common, but I can't skip the concept in case anyone is not able to understand that how we have proceeded so far. So that's why I have to write it down. Okay, so this is what the determinant is left up after taking those terms common. This is the delta dash. So how can I get the value of the determinant? See, for this we can't do anything. This is like it will remain, but we can simplify this determinant, right? So I'm going to simplify this delta dash. So what I'm doing is, I think you have seen the delta dash properly. So next operation that I'm going to do is that I'm going to convert row 2. I'm going to operate this thing, row 2 minus row 1. You see, if from row 2 I'm going to subtract row 1, then it would become a bit easier. In the similar way, from row 3 I'm going to subtract row 2. So how simplified my terms would be, my delta dash would then become a plus d into a plus 2d. This would be a plus 2d, this would be a, this would be d, this would be d, and here I would get a plus 2d into 2d, and here I would get a plus 3d into 2d. Now again, one thing I can see, that if I subtract more further the rows, then these may get, if I subtract this row 2 from row 3, then these two would become 0, or either if I subtract from row 2 the row 3, then these two would become 0. So while expanding determinants or while solving determinants, we usually ensure that if while expanding through any row or column, if my terms becomes easy to solve, then it would be a kind of profit to us. And how can it become easy if you don't need to solve it by each element of that column or row? And that could be made if that element has null value, it's 0. Okay, so that's why I operated this. Otherwise also, if I would have expanded it, it would might become like a bit lengthy, but still it's a better way, it's a smarter way to get to it, right? So if I solve it further, then by applying the operation of row 3, that is row 3 minus row 2, then I would get delta dash equal to a plus d, a plus 2d, a plus 2d into 2d. This would become a plus 2d. This would be d a 0 0 0, and this would be 2d square. This would be the determinant that would be formed after doing the operation. Now I am expanding it. Ultimately, we have to expand the determinant for finding its value. Now I can expand it through this row 3, right? Because these two terms of the row 3 have null value, so these wouldn't come in further expanding. So expanding along row 3, we get delta dash is equals to 2d square into these cofactors, a plus 2d d a d. Let me make you give you a glimpse that how we used to solve it. That if I want to subtract, if I want to expand it from row 3, if I want to expand this determinant from row 3, that is, if I want to get the value of this determinant, first of all I had done some operations that would make it easier for me to simplify it while expanding, and in that operations I have a kind of intention that I have to make few terms zero, that while expanding it becomes easier for me to expand. Then I can see that these two elements, if I expand it from row 3, these two elements have become zero. So I would just needed to expand it through this element, right? I would have to find just the cofactor of this element. So how do we do that? We cancel this element, the row of this element and the column of this element in which it lies, and then what we do is we cross multiply this with this and subtract the cross multiplication of this. That is how we get the value of this cofactor of this element. Okay, so what I am getting delta dash is, if you solve it, 2d square into d into a plus 2d minus a, that would be equal to 4d raised to the power 4. This is what I'll get at delta dash. So I had said earlier that delta would be equal to 1 by a into a plus d square into a plus 2d whole raised to the power 3 into a plus 3d whole raised to the power 2 into a plus 4d, and at last I had this delta dash, and I have get this value of delta dash, that is 4d raised to the power 4. I can directly put it over here, that is 4 into d raised to the power 4. Actually, I want to tell this that while preparing for my JEE exam, I had my institution conducted a test that usually they used to do, as other institutes do those kind of fortnightly tests. So in that test, the same question came, and due to some shortage, or must say due to lack of time, I couldn't solve it. So yet I thought that if this question comes next time or appears to me, I could directly answer that what and how and what is to be done in this question, and without thinking much I can clear that, I can tick over that option. So basically this question in my that practice test was that this thing was given to me. I was to find this, I was given this as lambda, okay, and I was to find the value of this thing. So I found it as a good question. So because we think that there is a kind of symmetry while solving, I thought that there is a symmetry, I can see these terms in AP. So I thought of doing something else. So please don't think much. Few questions are like that, they have to be thought differently, or there are some out of box like questions. So in my channel I like to share those questions which I feel like are bit out of the box. Although this question was not at all tough, I must say, yet it was like that we had to think over it. So thanks for watching my video. I hope that you all watched it till end. Yet if you find anything that this was not correct or good, you may tell me about that. I'll ensure that I work over it. And thank you again, thank you so much.